porch bring you strange brews, stories of the paranormal, the weird, the unusual. Enter if you dare.
Craft brews and casual conversations. We are back for the strange brew stuff. Took a week off of the strangeness, and with me is my friend Derek, all the way on the other side of the world, or not really, but kind of. Derek, how you doing?
I'm good. I wouldn't consider it the other side of the world, but a few time zones away.
Far enough away, yeah. So you were on out west, as they say. I guess I got a thing for people out west. That's Rob lives west, as do you. And we're here to talk about some spooky stuff. But I finally went to a store today and I bought some beer.
Nice.
I'm very proud of myself. It's been a hot second since I've done it. So New Glarus they make the Spotted Cow, which New Glarus, unfortunately, you can't get outside of Wisconsin, but they have their beer out. It's called Bubbler. Now, Derek, do you know what Bubbler means in the world of Wisconsin?
Mostly just from listening to Deuce and Brews for years and years and years. I believe that's a water fountain is what we would call it out here.
Yeah, like a drinking fountain. You would go up, and we call it a bubbler. I don't know why, but that is what we have. This particular beer from New Glarus, it is a Hefeweizen, so a little German for you. It says suit stride, toe skip, heel click, staccato exposition rhythms. Labor and workers and shoppers alike paused to share downtown bubblers on Wisconsin blocks. The bubbler that I hold in my hand sparkles with democratic spirit, combining Wisconsin wheat alongside European Pilsner malt. Choice American hops partner with imported hops, even yeast blend together in their open top fermenters. So 100% naturally carbonated and hazy. It says expect this living beer to pour an exuberant, effervescent gold. Bubblers beat in our hearts. It's a Wisconsin thing. The very, very low ABV of 4%. This is like,
wow.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well. But we're kind of going old school beer here. It looks like you're kind of like a standard beer, and I had to get it. It smells really sweet, and it's good. Yeah, it's definitely got it's not like a lager. It's got a sweetness to it for sure. But this is a pretty tasty one. What you got over there?
So I decided to hop into the seasonal stuff made out here in Washington. So I've got the Lunar Harvest Pumpkin Ale from Ghostfish Brewing Company based out of Seattle, Washington.
Nice.
Looking at the label on this, it says the last rays of summer twilight give way to a crisp fall night, and a ghostly white glow peers through the clouds. Is it the moon? No, it's the great white gourd, heralding the arrival of our pumpkin beer. This Belgian-style ale is golden color, malt forward, and brimming with fall spices. Paradoxically, both warming and refreshing. Best enjoyed before the first frost. 5% ABV and 20 IBU.
Nice. And now you were saying a little bit before you're not so sure about the pumpkin stuff, so you'll have to talk about how this one is and how it treats you.
Sure, yeah. Like pumpkin spice lattes are not my jam at all. Pumpkin beers, the wife usually goes for those. She likes she usually leans more like the cider side of things. So like there's a pumpkin spice cider that she really likes that comes out. I can't remember. I think it's the Night Owl or something like that she enjoys. But every year I always decide, you know what, I'm going to give pumpkin beer another shot because I do like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
And so let's see how this one is.
Sometimes with the pumpkin beers, it gets too artificial, and that's the problem with it. Same thing with any pumpkin spice lattes, bars, or whatever it may be. Now, I'm a real pumpkin bitch. I love them. But I can definitely see how they can get a little too artificial sometimes, including the beers.
Yeah, and honestly, like as far as a pumpkin beer goes, you get a little bit of that like kind of natural pumpkin. Like looking down the ingredients, they've got pumpkin puree and brown sugar, hops, spices. So it's not super sweet. Like it is very malty right off the bat. Actually, don't hate it.
That's good. That's good. That's a fair thing. Yeah, a lot of times too, with the pumpkin beers, they'll throw a lot of nutmeg in it, and that can sometimes overpower it as well. So I am no master brewer, so I don't know what it takes to get that perfect combination and that perfect blend. But golly, it's nice when it happens.
Yeah, I'm wondering as I get more into it, maybe more of that pumpkin will come through. But right now, it's just a solid malty Belgian.
Hell yeah, man! Great. Well, I'm happy. I'm happy we got to do this. I'm happy you're back on. You've been on the show a handful of times. We've been in conversation. We've been connected for a long time now, or since the very early days of the podcast. But you've never been on a Strange Brew before, so I'm pretty pumped to have you on this one.
Yeah, I am super stoked for this. I've hit you up plenty of times. I'm always happy when the Strange Brews pop up. I love the paranormal stuff. Listening into stories that usually I haven't heard. Like props to you for those.
Thanks.
But yeah, as far as like podcasting goes, I think I've only ever done one paranormal episode, and that was with BSP, who they've been gone for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, they've been going for a while. I was on one of those too. I couldn't tell you what. I think they talked about La Lorena maybe with me, or maybe they're on mine. I don't know. But it's been a hot second since those dudes have done anything. Which hopefully they're doing well. But we're gonna be talking about something that before Roswell, before really the term flying saucer, there was this Maury Island incident, which is not too far from your parts of the world, from my understanding. I guess, I asked you before too, if a lot of people talk about it, and you said it's more so Sasquatch, but this does get brought up sometimes.
Yeah. So obviously, the Pacific Northwest has a lot of paranormal podcasts. I mean, we have a lot of podcasters that are out this way, but typically, like if people are talking about the Pacific Northwest, obviously it's Sasquatch. Sometimes you get the Thunderbird, which was the episode I did with BSP. But really, like UFO sightings aren't brought up a whole lot in the mainstream, and that's despite having like, where I'm at in Tacoma, I'm basically like, I want to say like a 20-minute drive from Gig Harbor, or like a ferry ride from there over to Vashon, which is what Maury Island is part of now. But like about a half hour south of us, we have an Air Force base.
Oh, sure.
And so like we get things posted on, Tacoma subreddit all the time of, hey, what was that? What's that noise? What am I hearing going over? What was that? Did I see a UFO? Like there was one of them posted, I want to say like at the time of this recording yesterday.
Oh, crazy.
Someone's like, hey, what was this? With no pictures or anything to back it up, obviously.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. But this, so this goes back, we're talking about this Maury Island UFO incident. I off the top of my head, I don't remember what year it was. Was it like the 40s?
Yeah. So like just to put a timeline on this for some of the stuff that we're kind of talking about, Roswell, obviously the most well-known in the United States UFO crash, was July 8th, 1947. There was also the sighting from Kenneth Arnold, which was June 24th, 1947. That's where a pilot basically was coming from Idaho, driving. He was flying over Mount Rainier, and he reported seeing like 9 flying saucers kind of around that area as he was flying over. But go even earlier than that by a couple of weeks, and it was actually June 21st, 1947 that this event took place.
Yeah, so Harold Dahl, Fred Crimsman, or Kreisman, something like that. Harold Dahl was a patrolman and saw 6 flying donut-shaped craft near Maury Island. I think he was with his dog, wasn't he?
Yeah, supposedly it was him, his son, his dog, and supposedly 2 additional men were on it. One of them being Fred Crisman, Fred Crisman was not on there, but there was 2 other additional workers. From what I could gather, they were on a patrol boat, but it was mainly for like driftwood and logging operations. So it wasn't like a military kind of patrol.
Okay. Gotcha. Nice. So they see these, and this is like the first time I've ever heard of a flying saucer be described as a flying donut, like a donut shape. So you think flying saucer where it's a little thinner, but these are like, like your Homer Simpson donuts is what got put into my mind. But he sees these spacecrafts near Maury Island in was it Puget Sound?
Puget Sound.
Yeah.
So like where I'm at, basically I could drive like 5 miles down the road and touch the sound, or at least our section of the sound.
Oh, crazy.
But if you've hung out in Seattle, if you've ever been down to like Pike Place Market, the waterfront that you're seeing there, that's Puget Sound.
Okay, cool. So he's over there, and out of all these flying spacecrafts, one of them kind of like malfunctions, or it's acting a little bit funky, and then it just offloads this debris, I guess, if you want to call it that. So like, I think they described it as like some like molten white lava or some shit like that.
I think kind of the way that Harold had put it, he said it kind of looked like newspaper falling down almost.
Okay.
Like shredded newspaper. But once it started to hit the boat, the material actually was described as molten slag material.
Okay, that's right. And it killed the dog, which, what the hell? I thought ETs were cool. Injured the son, and just kind of this wild incident of UFOs unloading material onto the world and injuring people. And then this, like you said, this kind of like predates the Kenneth Arnold flying saucer sighting by a few days. But then that is when, after Kenneth Arnold saw this stuff, the UFO craze kind of like really took off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're pretty much everywhere I'm reading, they're calling it the Summer of Saucers.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's pretty crazy. And that event alone is pretty nuts. But like kind of what unfolds from everything, it's even crazier. So we have something that predates Roswell, like we said before, one of the most famous stories of all time in the world of UFOs. But it also has some of the first encounters with the Men in Black, which I like. Dahl himself was visited by a man in black driving a black Buick. We've done an episode on Men in Black a couple of years ago already. And this dude just knows everything that went down. It's like, I know what you saw. I know what you experienced. I know how your dog died, but you cannot do anything about it. You can't say anything about it. What I have said to you is proof that I know enough to keep you quiet. He warns them and all this kind of stuff. So which is, I don't know, how have they not made a movie about this or a series about this?
So they have.
Oh, they have.
I didn't write it down in my notes, but there's like an actual investigative video about this or a movie out there. But also it has been brought up in various comics and things like that.
Okay.
So kind of what gets crazier is even before the Men in Black stuff happens, kind of what I was digging into is that, Ray gets back. He tells his boss about what happened, obviously, like, hey, this is why the boat's damaged. It's not because I was drinking and I crashed into a log. It was a flying saucer. And so he tells his boss, and the two guys, Fred Chrisman and Harold Dahl, end up actually contacting a guy by the name of Ray Palmer.
Okay.
And Ray Palmer was the editor of the Pulp Fiction series Amazing Stories. So like if you think like the old school UFO looking, or a lot of shirts will especially around cryptids, they'll have like that crazy art style to them that looks very 60s, 50s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was an editor for.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. And so I guess Dahl and Chrisman reached out to him and said, hey, we have this slag. We're willing to send you a sample of it. And I guess their hope was to just kind of get their story out.
Sure.
But where things kind of take a turn from there is Kenneth Arnold, who I had mentioned earlier, who had that sighting like 3 days after.
Mm-hmm.
He also knew Ray Palmer.
Oh, crazy.
And so Ray Palmer calls him up and says, hey, you're a pilot. They had already discussed kind of Kenneth's sightings that he'd seen over Mount Rainier. He's like, why don't you fly over there, check out the story, get the evidence, and bring it back to us. So getting kind of back to the Men in Black stuff, what gets really kind of eerie about this, Kenneth first calls back, or he ends up contacting two military pilots or pilot investigators for the Air Force. And these are the same guys that he had already told his story to.
Okay.
And he says, look, I'm going out there. I'm going to contact these guys. If you want to come out, investigate them as well, I would recommend that.
This was Lieutenant Brown or something, like Colonel Brown or Lieutenant Davidson or something like that.
Lieutenant Frank Brown and Captain William Davidson. So people that are a little bit higher up in the Air Force at this point. So Kenneth goes out. He's trying to book a room. Like, he reaches Tacoma, and all the rooms are booked. He is not able to get a spot anywhere except for one hotel that supposedly he goes in. He's like, hey, I'd like to book a room here. And they're like, oh, yeah, we already have your reservation and everything ready.
Huh. That's crazy.
And so he's like, okay, well, that's weird, but this is the only place that's open, so I'm going to stay here. From there, that's where he had contacted Harold and Crispin and basically had that conversation where Harold came in and says, look, I can't talk about this, brings up that Men in Black experience that he had. But he was like, hey, I do have the evidence, the molten slag, that I'm happy to give over. In the meantime, these two pilots or these two investigators from the Air Force come over, and they meet with Harold and Crispin. They hand over the evidence, and basically, I guess Crispin might have told some of the stories, because from what I'm reading later on, like, Harold basically shuts down. He will not talk about it.
Yeah.
But these two investigators, they get the evidence, they file their report, and then as those men were leaving to fly back over, blanking on the name, not Ray Palmer. So as the two investigators were leaving, Kenneth Arnold actually gets a phone call. And this phone call lays out all the details of every conversation he had about this event.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Basically saying the same thing, like, hey, this is how much we know, leading Kenneth to believe like this room had to have been bugged by somebody. Like, it was a little too convenient that they had this one room.
Right.
And they basically say the same thing, like, hey, don't talk about this.
Yeah. And it's like the Men in Black thing, like, it's got to be, when you think about it, if it's a real thing, if it's a real organization, a real group, it's got to be through the government of some sort, like some high ranking officials, especially, it's almost too convenient that, the next day you said there's this military base that's not too far away. All this kind of stuff is happening. The next day, a dude's knocking on a door and is like, yeah, we know what happened. You're not going to say anything. So it's like known. America has known about this for a long time, is what it tells me. I wish I knew how to be a man in black. Like, how long you got to be in the military for that? You got to be like some badass dude.
Oh, absolutely. Or even, I mean, I would go like FBI or something like that.
Right. Maybe you could be like somebody that's, read the Epstein files and you're like, I want to do that then. Or this is getting released. I don't know.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, I obviously growing up around this area, I know people that have been in the military, people that have been in the Air Force. And like, I knew a guy who worked on Blackhawks. Like, he was a mechanic on them.
Awesome.
And he was telling me, like, obviously he wasn't talking about like, oh, the ins and outs of the vehicle. Like, he knows better than that. But he was like, yeah, the screening process where it's like, they take you in and say, okay, you're held at gunpoint. You're being tortured. They say they're going to kill your family unless you give us this info. God. And you basically have to be like, yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not releasing this info. Like, that's the level of dedication and security you need for just working on the vehicle.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the clearance is like for something like a Men in Black.
Yeah. You probably have to go through, you just get like cattle prodded and stuff. And
fingerprints burn off just like the movie.
Yeah, that's probably that's absolutely insane. But you were talking about the dudes kind of collecting the debris, those two army officials, and then I don't know if you have it on yours, but they on their way back, their plane crashes and they're dead.
Yeah, so they were flying back on a B-52, so the bomber that we all grew up knowing. Like if you knew any planes from watching cartoons, that's what it was.
Right.
And yeah, supposedly they were flying back with just like a couple soldiers on board and these two guys. And I guess they all of a sudden, as they're climbing over Mount Rainier, they end up having engine failure. So they kind of push this soldier out, they let him parachute out and they go down with the plane. Crashes into Mount Rainier, debris scatters everywhere, evidence goes missing.
Right. That's crazy. It's just being in 2025 and we've witnessed certain different scenarios where information could be getting released about really anything. We had, what was it, New Jersey? Was that last year when like the flying drone things were going on all over the place? And it's always like, they're always just quick to respond to it, or some like weird incident coincidentally happens. This person dies in jail, who has all this information. Oh, information's gone now. It's just, so often it happens. And yet they're like, yep, that's what it is. Oh, engine failure happens all the time, right? Just happened to happen on this plane with these guys.
Anything's possible. So, that's the skeptic part of my brain, right?
Yeah.
Like flying over Mount Rainier, it's terrible turbulence you're going to hit from that. I've flown out of SeaTac plenty of times. So, yeah, I kind of get it. Also, you got to think, the late 40s, air safety wasn't the same thing.
That's true. Yeah.
So there are things to lean themselves towards that. But what gets really interesting with this is, this plane goes down. Obviously, the government has to investigate. So the FBI actually did conduct an investigation on this. There are full files out there. I don't have links to any of them. They're heavily redacted because it is military personnel involved. But the FBI basically show up. They talk to Fred Chrisman, and he basically at that point says, "Nope, this is made up. I don't want to talk about this no more."
Yeah.
And you got to wonder, it's like, okay, is that because he was also visited by a man in black? Because going over to Harold, he just flat out says, "I will not talk about this to anyone." Like that is his answer, which is what he was told.
Yeah. Well, and said too that, like, after the crash, pretty quickly after, Dahl recants a lot of like parts of his story and says it was a hoax, but then later insists he was pressured to do so.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out. There's a YouTube channel out there, Pretty Gritty Tours. It's a guy, I believe his name is Chris. I've never actually met him, but he does tours around Tacoma, talking about the history and of the area and stuff. And during COVID, during 2020, he transitioned over to doing YouTube videos.
Nice.
And he does a huge deep dive, like investigative journalist style, into this story and I'm not going to spoil everything because I didn't watch all of it, but basically like he digs in and finds these records that are out there and digs into it, looks up Fred Chrisman, looks up Harold Dahl. Supposedly there was no son from what he could find. Supposedly there might even be a chance that Harold Dahl and Fred Chrisman are the same person. So yeah, so definitely if you want to check out the Maury Island Incident, I would say check it out on YouTube with Pretty Gritty Tours. Like I said, he dives into it way more than I could on just a quick podcast episode.
Yeah, that's sweet. And I mean, to push it even further, after there apparently is some links. I don't have a lot of information on it, but something that Chrisman may have had later ties with other conspiracies, including JFK.
Yeah, I didn't dig into it, but it seemed like I didn't see Chrisman's side of it. I know that, if you want to talk about that first, but I know that Kenneth Arnold actually did tie in a lot more with UFO stuff as well. So
yeah, go for it. Yeah, that's
Yeah, basically, like he became a full UFO investigator.
Oh, really? Nice.
Like, yeah, multiple stories. Again, reported out to Ray Palmer a lot. Kind of why this is talked about as being like the first experience of a Men in Black, or the first reporting of it, is because as Ray Palmer was kind of putting out these stories in Amazing Stories, that was kind of like the first media version of it, calling them the Men in Black.
Okay.
And so that's where you kind of have to question, like, how much of this story was made up by Ray Palmer? How much of it was Kenneth Arnold, who is trying to investigate UFOs and,
Right.
or claiming that he's seen multiple times, trying to get to the truth, but still then kind of feeding these stories, knowing that he's friends with Ray Palmer.
That's great. I mean, I don't know. I do like to think that something like this does exist, and I think that there's information out there. You know, Area 51. I don't know if that's where they house some aliens and some spacecraft. It really could be anywhere. A lot of places out west have those air military bases that have huge. You need a lot of clearance to even get on it. So it's just. I'd like to believe. I would like to believe. I'm like Fox Mulder. I want to believe that this stuff exists. What it means for humanity, I don't really know. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised not too many. This hasn't gotten more attention on it than something like a Roswell or an Area 51, because it's like so many layers to it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because it just has been disproven. Like, everyone knows Roswell. It was the biggest one out of this area this summer, where, you know, multiple sightings with just random people were being reported at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, like, the timing of it all kind of falling together, I'm in the same boat. I believe there is a chance, like, probability wise, that there should be other intelligent life out there. Whether or not they're visiting here, that's a whole nother debate to have. But there's got to be other life out there. I 100% agree with that. But it's just interesting. Like, all of these things started happening around, you know, the mid 40s.
Yeah.
And then you have Roswell. Like, how much attention does that take away from the other stories? It's a little too convenient that, all of a sudden we have the biggest one and it's nationally broadcast. Right after we had Kenneth Arnold and you know, Harold Dahl talking about these things.
Yeah, it's wild, it's crazy, and it's a pretty cool story. I definitely would like to dig into more of it and learn more about it, because it's super interesting. But speaking of like the 1940s and, you know, maybe the early 50s, did you see the new Fallout trailer?
I did not know there was a new. Oh, yes, I did. I saw the basic trailer for it. I am super stoked for it.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I was.
Did you watch the first season?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was.
Yeah,
and then, like, now that they're going to New Vegas, and it's like, and I just I finished New Vegas this summer. I played through it all, and
nice.
Yeah, it was my first time ever playing it too. So I was I really enjoyed it. I tried to take my time. I fucked up at one point where I made like a thing, and then like one of the factions got mad at me, and I was like, I wasn't ready for that yet. But then I was like, I'm too far into what I'm doing now to go back. So I had
and that's the fun part about New Vegas. Like, I'm an old school. I've been playing since the first Fallout game, like where it was the top down tactical. You know, I have my Brotherhood of Steel tattoo. Like, I've been a diehard Fallout fan since I was a kid, and I love New Vegas for the fact that that story was basically what Fallout 3 should have been if it was the original creators. Like, that's kind of where they were going. And so now seeing how well they tied in like the old school games, even before Fallout 3, like the vibes of it seemed like what I loved about the original Fallout. So them now taking on New Vegas, I'm just absolutely excited. Like, I don't get hyped for a lot of movies and shows. This one, like, day one, I'm going to sit and watch everything I can.
Oh yeah. Like, I saw like when they were showing like the Lucky 38, and I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, this is going to be, even like Mr. House, it's going to be sweet. And I can only, you know, I can have some assumptions of how they're going to do it, but I just watched it tonight. And I was just like, I got to talk to Derek about this, because I know he'll appreciate this a lot. But yeah, no, New Vegas was a lot of fun.
So what I was saying before that, though, is, yeah, the whole point of like the old school Fallout games is like, you can never please anybody.
Right.
And so the fact that you're like, oh yeah, I did this thing and these people got pissed off at me. It's like, yeah, that's just New Vegas. Like, it doesn't really change your ending a whole lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the experience to get to that point.
Yeah, it was fun, and like, it's been a minute since I've played Fallout 3. That was the first one I ever experienced was Fallout 3, and that's the one where you're looking for. You're not looking. Are you looking for your dad? Is that what it? Or?
Yeah, you're looking for. I believe it's Liam Neeson who played him too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that takes. It was like the first one on the East Coast because that was DC that you were in, I believe. It's been a while since I played that one.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I just remember like I could have had the choice to blow up that one city, but I didn't because I had a nice little home there, and I was like, well, I like to save there and go.
So funny enough, I've talked about, and you've seen pictures that I posted from PAX, the Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah.
One of the first ones I went to is my buddy from high school, who was my roommate at the time. And we went to PAX, and at that one, they showed off for the first time the gameplay of Fallout 3.
Nice.
Like, there were trailers out, but there was no actual gameplay of it. And so we got to sit in a panel with like probably 200 other people just watching these guys talk about the game and play it. And I remember they ended that video with Megaton.
Oh, okay.
And they basically just like look out at the crowd, finger over the button, like, we know you're going to cheer for this. So let's just go ahead and do it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than take a vote, and blew up the town. And like, that was my first exposure, was getting to see that opening gameplay. I was immediately sold on it again. I was like, I don't care if it's first person. I'm getting back in that world. Yeah,
it was awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, even too, like when you talk about like they're not shy. They don't shy away from like the alien stuff too in the Fallout games. So it's kind of ties into this well.
And another game that ties into it. Have you checked out the Outer Worlds?
I've looked at them. They're on PlayStation Plus, and I've it's with like the talking gun, right? Is that right? Is that one?
There is a talking gun in one of it, but this one specifically it's that retro science aesthetic.
Yeah.
So think that 50s UFO, 40s UFO style. But it's made from some of the original developers of Fallout as well.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check that out.
100%. You could talk your way through stuff. You got, your VATS, or what they call like your Deadeye precision, or whatever they call it in it. But there's a new one of those coming out that I'm super stoked for. So yeah, if you haven't played that one, if it's on PlayStation Plus, yeah, maybe check that one out.
Yeah, I definitely will. When I get a moment to game again. I'm in the season where it doesn't really happen, but we'll get there. I tried playing Dead Island, and I didn't really like it, and I was disappointed that I didn't like it. I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, I played a bit of the first one. Had the game absolutely ruined by this is Xbox 360 era, so there was some cheater on it who just dropped like a god weapon in front of me, and I was like, all right, well, this basically just ruined the rest of the game because I'm not going to use anything else.
Yeah.
But wife and I tried to play. I think Dead Island 2 was on Epic Game Store or something like that for free one week, and yeah, we fell off of it immediately. Like, it was just janky, and I don't know.
Nice. Cool, man. Are there any other UFO stories or anything that like similar to that in your area? Well, you said like stuff pops up from time to time, but
yeah, not really. Like, I've heard stories where people I know have been like, oh, I saw a light I couldn't explain. It's like, well, yeah, I saw a vibe, but it could be a shooting star. It could be like a million different things, right?
Yeah. The only one time that I ever there's been twice actually where I saw some shit in the sky. The first time I was driving a dude I worked with home. I was dropping him off, and we were just in the town that we live in, and I look up and I was like, dude, do you see that? And it seriously looked like a shooting star, but it wasn't just like a little flash thing. It looked bigger, and it was just like going really quick. It was like kind of going from right to left. And then all of a sudden it looked like it like did a 180 and just zipped away like at a quick speed. And the guy in my car was with me, and I was like, "You're watching this, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." Like, what the hell is this? And I was driving, and this was kind of like, I might have had like an older iPhone, but I didn't think to whip it out and try to record it. But and then the other time, I was driving. This is when I worked in a cheese factory, and I talked about it on the podcast. But I'm driving. It's probably like 3:30 in the morning. It's dark. I'm going up this big incline on the road, and then to the left of me, it kind of looked like as if like a power line had broke, so kind of like sparks and stuff like that. And it was crazy, and it like lit up the whole area. I was like, "What the fuck was it?" And then like a car was following me for a while.
Oh shit!
And then I parked in the parking lot where I work. That same car pulls in, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's just somebody." But then they like turn around and left, and I was like, "What the hell is going on there?"
Was it a black Buick?
It was dark, but so I mean, it looked like a black car, but it was dark outside, so I couldn't get the type. That would be crazy if it was a Buick. I wonder why. Do you think they pick Buicks just because they're reliable, or maybe they're cheaper?
I think it's just whatever happened to be in fashion. Like you look at all like the presidential stuff now, it's all like Lincolns and stuff like that. Now there was one experience I had. I haven't really told this to a lot of people.
Nice.
But so this would have been 2003. So I would have been 18. My girlfriend at the time was younger than me, so she had a curfew. And so I drove her home probably about 9:00 at night during the summer, dropped her off at her place. And like, I specifically know kind of the timeline, like how long it takes me to get to her house, stuff like that. But I walk her to the door, I turn around, and Washington, we have like our wetland areas, lots of trees and whatnot.
Yeah.
And kind of off in the distance, it would have been maybe half a mile out. It was like the next street up, like the next major thoroughfare from this little suburban neighborhood we were in. I'm looking out, and basically it just kind of looked like a falling star, just like super slow, kind of crested past the tree line. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And so I'm driving back. Normally I turn my music on, crank it up, especially during the summer, when it's down and whatnot. But I was like, okay, that seems kind of weird. Like the vibe feels off. So I left my radio off. And as I'm driving down, it's just like dead silent, like no birds, no nothing, no bugs, no frogs. I'm like, okay, this is kind of eerie, and like fully well lit street and everything getting back. And all of a sudden there was helicopter overhead.
Interesting.
That was kind of like shining a spotlight around the area and kind of swept over my car in one of those passes. And I'm like, okay, how much of this, like, am I just making up because it's like, this is a weird ass situation?
Yeah.
Like, is it that coincidence being too perfect for this? But didn't get visited, didn't get followed as far as I know. Like, I didn't see any other cars around me, but in the same breath, didn't see any other cars on the road either on my way back. So
interesting. And they say like too, like you gotta look at the clock. You gotta look at what time it is. Like when that stuff is happening, because there'll be like what they say, when you encounter things like this, is that all of a sudden you'll watch it all unfold, and like it feels like 3 seconds, but then when you look at your clock, it's like it was like 20 minutes have gone by. But
so that's kind of the reason I haven't told a lot of people.
Yeah,
because I knew how long it took me to get to her place and back. And I somehow lost like 10 minutes in that.
Oh, that's crazy.
That could have been just I hung out a little too long playing kissy face before she went inside. Like, who knows? But yeah, or I could have just misread the clock. Like, who knows? It wasn't like I lost an hour, 2 hours, anything crazy like that.
Or your mind was, maybe you don't remember most of it because your mind was erased. And there's a 10-minute period where you saw wild, crazy intergalactic space battles happen before your eyes, and someone's like, we gotta erase that.
But here's my thing: is why didn't you erase it before that point, like when I first saw it?
Maybe it's just too much time. You gotta be like, we gotta have something. We gotta have some reason for this person. Like, leave enough information in there so people have reasonable doubt.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Like if I had driven her home and then got home and I'm like, I don't know, like, where's she at? I didn't drive her home yet. Like, yeah, if I lost that much time, yeah.
Right. So maybe like they left enough information where if you tell the story in some shitty podcast that people are like, that guy's crazy.
Pretty much that. Like I said, there's reasons I haven't told a whole lot of people about it. Like my wife knows the story. I think my brother knows the story, but that's about it up until now.
Now the world knows the story.
Yeah, now the world knows.
You'll have to lock your windows tonight because the Men in Black will be coming. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Keep his wife's name out of your mouth, and you'll be all right.
That's instead of the flashing, he just slaps you across the face.
Slaps the shit out of you. You get a concussion. That would be funny if they made another Men in Black movie and they somehow factored that in.
Oh, fuck! It's been so long since I watched it. I swear there's a scene where he slaps someone.
Yeah, I think there is. I've only seen the first one.
I've seen the first two. Definitely seen the first one the most.
Yeah.
I know I've seen the second one. I never watched any of the other ones.
I got the first one for Christmas when I was a kid. And I was young enough to believe Santa put it in my stocking.
Okay.
So I don't know what year that was. Either I was younger or I was just too old and still believed in Santa. Oh, well. There was magic in the moment. Memorable enough.
Either way, you got Men in Black. So
right. I got to watch the movie, and I wanted the movie so badly. And I had never seen it, but I just knew like I like aliens, and I wanna watch this movie. And I didn't even know, I didn't know it was a comic series or anything like that prior to that. I wish I did, because then I probably would have picked them up and read a little bit more in my youth. But hey, movies are important too.
Agreed.
So awesome, man. Well, thanks for hopping on. I'm happy to have you on anytime you want. Any stuff going on that you want to plug, or you just kind of living life?
Nah, just kind of living life. I came on to plug Sometimes Geek when I was rebooting that, but real life kind of got in the way shortly after I relaunched that. So
yeah, man, I hear.
Yeah, just kind of living, working, dealing with that situation right now. It's taking a bit more of my forward thought instead of throwing it into something creative.
I work so much and it sucks. It's I am currently working the most I've ever probably worked in my life, to some regard. And granted, like I enjoy the jobs that I have, minus DJing weddings. I don't really like DJing weddings, but when they hand you the money, I was like, all right, I guess I can do this. But it's it's like I just sometimes like look at the clock and I see it's 9:00 at night and I'm like, where the fuck did this day go? Like I feel like I've accomplished everything, yet I've accomplished nothing. And it's just a weird thing. And I think about this podcast a lot, and I'm like, I gotta figure out how to keep sustaining it. I gotta figure out how to keep doing it, because I enjoy it and I like it. It's fun. And I've met great people. I've made new friends and stuff like that. And Rob will be back on eventually once we organize that. And same thing. He's in a new work situation too. So I talked to him the other day. He's doing well. And he was like, we got to record soon. We're going to do it. And I was like, all right, you let me know and we'll make it happen. But yeah, dude, you've been along for the ride of Dudes with Brews. You've seen and heard me at my lowest points, and you've seen me at my high points. So you're still around. You're a real one.
Yep, proud member of the Porch Pint Society. Like I said, one of the first T-shirts bought. So
hell yeah, we're still going strong. There might be one day a Porch Pint in the near future.
Ooh.
An actual one, a real beer, declared the Porch Pint. So we are that is in the works. We'll see what happens, but perhaps summer of 2026 that will be unveiled unto the world. That would be pretty exciting. So,
I agree. Yeah, you got to keep me posted on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. I got to make sure the brewer is, he's still into the idea when the time comes. I talked to him about it recently, and he was all for it. So that would be pretty sweet. But hell yeah, man! How was that pumpkin beer?
Didn't finish it. It was a tall one, so kind of took my time on it. But yeah, it's not bad. I don't know if I'd go for it again, but as far as pumpkin beer goes, like I said, I normally am strongly against them, and this has been fine.
Good. Sometimes that's what you gotta settle for. Just fine. And that's
fine for me might be great to someone else. Like, who knows?
Right. The bubbler is good. It's got that sweetness is a little unique to it. But it is good. I do like New Glarus a lot. I'm waiting they have a beer called Fat Squirrel. That's one of their seasonal beers. It should be out pretty soon, so I gotta get my hands on that. But really, if you're in Wisconsin, if you're ever in Wisconsin, you have to have a New Glarus beer. They were kind of a pioneer in Wisconsin micro brews back in the day. They were around before the craft beer bubble occurred with the Spotted Cow and everything like that. So they're definitely worthwhile. We definitely love them, and we shouldn't take them for granted, because only Wisconsin gets this tasty ride.
Yeah, something I hadn't thought about, because obviously, I've never been to Wisconsin, so I haven't had it. But I did have a friend who was, funny enough, on the topic of aliens. He ran a bottle shop.
Oh, nice.
Up in Covington, which is probably 20 miles south of Seattle, called Cosmic Bottles, which was 100% sci-fi themed. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, that shop is closed. Like, he's moved back east. He's in. It's actually one of the hosts from the Grit City podcast.
Okay,
I used to be part of. And had I thought about it at the time, I'm sure he could have gotten his hands on it for me. And unfortunately, that time has passed. That opportunity has passed.
Well, if I ever make my way towards Washington or in that area, I will smuggle some Spotted Cow over. Rob, if Rob can do it, I can do it. So
and then we'll find something for you to smuggle back. We got plenty of good stuff out here too.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Good beer everywhere. Good people everywhere. Grab a pint whenever you can and just enjoy it, drink it. Take 5 minutes to just watch the skies. You never know what could be hovering above you or, falling out of it. I guess bring an umbrella or something. That's all.
That's just normal Washington anyway, right?
Right. I think so. So, Derek, man, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Happy to be on, man. Anytime you want me.
Pew, pew, audio. Goodbye, everyone.